Hello, welcome to week 7 and 8. I want to talk about the items that are left for you to do. Let's start with a quiz. It'll be available on Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, somewhere in that time frame. I believe it becomes available at around midnight. So I don't expect any of you to stay up to take the quiz. So maybe you should look for it Wednesday morning. But the quiz is going to be over some of the poetry terms, not all of them. I'll give you a little hint. Alliteration's in there, iambic pentameter's in there, cantu's in there. Quickly, iambic pentameter, if that made you go, ooh, what's that? Well, an iamb is an unstressed followed by a stressed syllable. Pentameter is 5 of them. So if you've got 5 sets of unstressed and stressed syllables, you've got iambic pentameter. If that's how a poem is written, then it's written in iambic pentameter. I use the example of William Wordsworth quite often because it's just easy to remember. The world is too much with us late and soon. That's William Wordsworth. And it's a great example of iambic pentameter. The world, unstressed, stressed, is too, unstressed, stressed, much with, unstressed, stressed, us late, unstressed, stressed, and soon, unstressed, stressed. So there's 5. The world is too much with, us late, and soon. 5 iambs, 10 syllables. So iambic pentameter's on there. There's a little bit of the poem information on there just to make sure you read the poems. I don't expect you to be able to analyze them unless you want to write an analysis of them for your final major writing assignment. I would recommend you just pick one. Don't try to analyze all 3 of them. Poems are very condensed. There's a lot of meaning packed into those few lines. If you're reading Milton, you may say, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't a few lines. There are a lot of lines here. And that's true. It may be very cumbersome to read Milton, but you need to be exposed to Milton. He's a very, very famous poet, very famous author. He was he was right up there with Shakespeare. So if ever you're studying Shakespeare, someone's going to compare him to Milton. It's just how it is in the world of literature. So don't be intimidated by the Milton poem. There's a lot of stuff in that poem you can Google, which is interesting. So it won't be boring if you're Googling all those phrases and terms that you're not familiar with. The Oxen poem by Thomas Hardy, you might enjoy a little more. It's rhyme. There's a rhyme scheme there. Pay attention to who's kneeling. I'll just give you that hint. The last poem is Joy Harjo. Joy Harjo is a famous Native American woman poet. She's still alive, so unlike Thomas Hardy, unlike John Milton, she's still alive. She's been poet laureate. She was poet laureate a few times within the last 5 years. So her stuff is more modern. She writes a lot about the plight of the Native Americans and remembering family. Family is very important. Justice, social justice is very important in all of her poems. I love her poetry because it's just smooth and warm. That's how I would describe her poetry, smooth and warm. But sometimes uncomfortable. And sometimes we need to be uncomfortable. It's what gets us on our feet and makes us do things differently is when we're uncomfortable. So read the poems, be a little bit familiar with the poetic terms, use your Google skills. At least you'll get a lot to Google with these poems. Also, let's talk about the book, the OpenStax book. So chapters 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18. It should all be review, stuff that you've seen before, but glance through it again. There's a lot of stuff in there that can help you. Also on the extra resources, I found some other texts online that can also help you to understand what an analysis is, some additional literary terms, some additional writing strategies. We've got some really great writers in our class. We've got some who still struggle with organization and syntax and stuff like that. So if you're one of those who are struggling, check out the extra resources. Ask for help. Use tutoring. No shame in that. There's virtual tutoring. Lone Star College offers virtual tutoring. So go to the tutoring website. You can Google Lone Star College tutoring, virtual tutoring, get in touch with the testing center at Houston North. They can direct you to the type of virtual tutoring that's available for writing. Also be prepared to work with your group. If you're not working with your group now, you need to work with your group. If you're having trouble working with your group, let me know. I will connect you with your group. If I have to call people on your behalf, if I have to assign a manager, coordinator, whatever I need to do to get your group up and running, I will do. But I hope that you guys use your rhetorical skills, your ability to persuade, your ability to communicate with each other to get this group project done. So group projects make some people cringe, and then in an online class, they make them scratch their head and cringe, but it can be done. And I'm not asking you to do anything outlandish. You can each have a question and come up with some visual representation of it and then glue it all together and upload it. So the hardest part's going to be using your rhetorical skills, your communication skills to get with each other, coordinate with each other. So look at it as rhetoric on your feet, rhetoric in real life, rhetoric with an everyday use. Every day you've got to work around other people, communicate with them to achieve something. So here you're achieving a major grade, so it's pretty important. But again, let me know if there's any problems whatsoever that you're trying to resolve or unable to resolve so that you can get that group project done. Your final big paper is an analysis. So you pick whatever written work we've had this semester and analyze it. Write an analysis of it. How you go about that, you can do it how you want. If you want to analyze how Swift uses satire, how Milton uses biblical references, however you want to analyze it, just make it an analysis. Analyze the literature, analyze the rhetoric, just tell us how something's been effective, and feel free to compare it to other works. Feel free to do some research. Anytime you write something and say, oh, I know Ms. Southworth's going to say, where's your evidence? Then use your research skills to find that evidence and put it in your paper. And of course, use parenthetical documentation. You can rewrite your major assignment 1 and 2 and the essay for the midterm. You cannot rewrite this last major graded paper. So you've had feedback enough from me this semester to know what you can get away with and what you can't. So do your best. Do your best. Next week, I'll post another quiz so that I can drop the lowest grade of a quiz. So if you had a really bad experience with a quiz, next week, take the 4th quiz and I'll drop your lowest grade. So you can take the 4th quiz for fun. You can take the 4th quiz and be serious so that you can get quiz 1 or 2, whatever you had a problem with, or 3. You haven't taken 3 yet. But you can get that lowest quiz grade dropped if you do quiz 4. Quiz 4 is going to be over everything all 8 weeks. So it's going to have something from all the quizzes. The midterm, nothing is off limits on quiz 4. Every part of this class is free game to be on quiz 4. So let's see. We've talked about the group project, the final big writing assignment, the quiz, the bonus quiz. So the last thing to talk about is the final exam. This is going to be 10 questions. These questions must be answered in the form of a paragraph. Topic sentence, details, evidence, examples, references to the readings, parenthetical documentation. You don't have to have a works cited page for the final because you've got your annotated bibliography. You've got all kinds of other things showing me that, you know, which work you should. If you say Swift, I know which work. If you say Harjo, I know which work. So you don't have to make a works cited page for your final exam, but you do need to answer the question. If you answer the question in a complete sentence and then use evidence, details, examples, references to the text, you'll have a paragraph. So there are 10 of them. The annotated bibliography is due this week. All the information about it's posted. So I guess that's it. I will give you a hint on your last paper, a little bit of a tip that can help you if you're struggling with the works cited pages. Something you can do is use the library's databases. Go to lonestar.edu, click on libraries, click on research help, click on one of the databases. EBSCO is a pretty common one. JSTOR is another one. Muse. There are just quite a few databases. Just click on one, explore, find some information. But you'll notice when you find an article in the databases, there's a place for you to click and get the citation. So you can get the citation, select MLA citation, copy and paste it onto your works cited page, put them in alphabetical order. This is also going to be helpful, if you use the databases for your third paper. You may be able to find some of the entries in the databases about the readings that we've read. So if you're having trouble getting the works cited page done for Essay 3, or you're still not clear about how to do a citation, spend some time in the databases, click on an article, click on the MLA citation, and get a feel for how things are done correctly for the works cited page. I'm still getting people who are just putting a list of URLs. No, that's not going to work. That's not college works cited page. It's not going to work. Typically, it's author's last name, first name, the source, the publisher, the date, the page number. So use the library. Reference librarians know this stuff better than I do. They've posted a lot of help about citations on the Lone Star Library website. The databases all have citations. They do it for you. They will do the citation for you in those databases. So lots of good stuff there. That's my my tip, my recommendation for you. So let's see. Let's do a recap. You're working on your group work. You're working on your annotated bibliography. The group work, I believe, is due the 15th next week. But what you have to do this week is the annotated bibliography by the 10th. The quiz, we'll just say the quiz by the 10th, even though it'll be posted Wednesday. You've got until the 10th to do the quiz. Your final paper, the analysis paper, the final exam. All this is posted in D2L, but it's good to hear it too. It's not too overwhelming if you've been staying on top of things. The annotated bibliography should be easy, no fuss, no muss if you've been working on it all along. The quiz is 25 questions. It's over the poems, the poetic terms, the chapters, the week 7 stuff. The final exam, 10 questions. The group project, you guys are going to work together. It's all in D2L. So I guess we've covered it all. I hope that you will pull something out of the poetry week to carry with you. It's not a class about poetry, and poetry is often overlooked in many English classes, but I love it. I love poetry. So enjoy the poetry. Try to write some poems on your own over the holidays. It's cathartic. Helps you get the creative juices going too. I hope you have a great holiday. I'll wish you that in words, in written words, but here I can do it on a video. You may not get another video from me. So it's been great. I've appreciated reading your work. Some pretty good authors in the class. I've given more A's than I expected to give, but as always, I give more D's and F's than I want to give. I don't want to give any. But sometimes if I can't understand what you're saying, or if it doesn't follow the instructions at all, that's what I got to do. So you still have an opportunity to pull an A out of this course if you do rewrites, do the bonus quiz. You can still pull an A out of this course. Some of you already have A's. If you've got questions about your grades or anything else, please send me an email, use the JOT form, or you can give me a call. My desk number is 281-312-1547. My cell phone is 281-601-7200. So let's make these next 2 weeks count. December 19th, everything needs to be done. Okay, good luck.